Okay, so I made adjustments since the last video. Um, I'm filming this a little bit earlier in the morning. Or, sorry, no, I actually filmed yesterday in the morning too. I just opened the curtain basically. We're doing natural light. We're gonna have to just wait on the closet. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that yet, but I'll address that eventually. Anyway, I guess I wanted to give a little bit more like background on what I'm doing or like where I'm at and more importantly how I got here. So like I told you in the last video, I'm 25. I'm living at a recovery home right now in Chicago. I basically, got into this situation through like bad habits, right? Just like bad decision making over time, left unchecked, and just spiraling out of control. So I guess we'll start in high school. Like summer going into high school, I started smoking pot, and that kind of just stayed with me until the end of high school. So that is about 6 years or 5 years, because I went to high school for 5 years. That's yeah. I didn't get my English credit for senior year. I had to go back. Still didn't get it. Ended up getting a GED. Anyway, so that's 6 years, 6.5 years of smoking weed. Throughout that time, I had experimented with pretty much anything I can get my hands on. Mushrooms, acid, whatever, you name it. All of those rave drugs, right? Prescription medications, you know what I mean? Percocet, Xanax, K-pins, whatever. So basically, after high school, I was in Toronto at the time. I was staying in the suburbs of Toronto. I wasn't in school. I'd stayed there a year, just saving up some money. And I had saved up a nice chunk of change. So my plan was to come here, get a CDL, and start trucking. I'm in Chicago now, so come to Chicago, get my CDL, start trucking. Somewhere in that process, when I came here, I was first staying at my aunt and uncle's, and somewhere in that process, I got carried away going out to bars. And actually, first, I got into a bar fight over my phone because I thought he was trying to take my phone. This guy was trying to take my phone. I ended up being arrested. They threw me in the back of a cop car. It was in the middle of August. It was hot. And they just locked the car. And in this time, they're talking to the bartender or whoever staff was there. And it's hot in the back of this car. And I don't know. I thought it was smart to continuously bang my head against the glass to break the window so I could get some fresh air, get a breeze. That's how this happened. For that case, I stayed in, for the weekend, I stayed in county jail for the weekend, came out, got a public defender, essentially ended up with 1 year supervision. Before that verdict even came out, right, so I didn't technically violate the supervision. Before that verdict even came out, I was put on probation for a DUI. This is my first DUI. I got that literally. I'm with a friend that I made here in college. I'm at his place. We're chilling in his basement. We're watching a UFC fight. We were drinking Modelo's and White Claws. We ran out, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go get another pack of Modelo's. and it was literally like a mile and a half down the road. Mind you, I'm definitely should not be driving, to be fair. Definitely should not be driving. I don't want to say like don't know where I'm at, but like literally walking up the stairs, I like slightly lost my balance because I like turned around and looked at him. And yeah. Definitely should not have left. I don't know what possessed me to think that that was a good idea. And then on top of all this car is a car that I just got, and it has no plates. Just nonsense. Just a bunch of nonsense. Anyway, I literally drive maybe a mile and a half down the road. I can literally see the BP that I'm trying to get to. And then, yeah. It was a lady cop. I cooperated. I literally just told her everything. Because for some reason in my head, I thought that I was going to blow below a .08. Because, obviously. Needless to say, I didn't. I think I blew like a 1.14. Something like that. Anyway. And then that one I didn't even end up spending in county jail. I went there, got processed, got out, literally Ubered back to my aunt and uncle's, woke up early in the morning, went to get my car back. And tried to like have it play off like nothing happened. That right there happened right before Christmas, like a week before Christmas. No, maybe 2 weeks before Christmas. Okay. Say 2 weeks before Christmas. About a month later, I decided to go take a trip to Indiana, Bloomington, Indiana, where I had some like childhood friends there, right? So I wanted to go see them. Whatever, it was like the summer. I mean, it was winter break. I wanted to go see them. Yeah, and in me driving there, I think it's a great idea to you know, have a couple of drinks. Mind you, at this point, like I don't even know why I'm drinking anymore. Like it was just something to do. And then when I would try to stop, I just feel horrendous. So we just didn't. So yeah, I get my second DUI. You know, I end up spending county jail for like 10 days. I'm in another state. I have to, my childhood friend, one of the childhood friends I was going to go see has to drive an hour and a half, you know, to come get me. I ended up staying in a hotel. I pick up my car. I get my car out the impound again, and just drive back. Now everyone knows because I needed my family's help because Indiana, you can't bail yourself out. So that's nice. So now everybody knows that I've been arrested and whatnot. I go back and yeah, so I'm like trying to, you know, smooth things over. Like, oh, you know, it's whatever, mistake, it happened, yada, yada, yada. And in all of that, a few days later, they get letters from DuPage County talking about my other DUI. So now everything just looks horrendous on my paperwork. In the span of, you know, half a year, I went, you know, from wanting to start trucking, career change, to now I'm full-blown alcoholic, 2 DUIs and a battery. Yeah, so after that, I just really neglected all of the sentencing stuff for the second one because that was another state, so I just kind of left that alone. I was sentenced to probation here for 3 years. I was sentenced to probation, 410 probation, right? Well, initially it was supposed to be 2 years. I didn't like complete everything they wanted me to complete until year 3, so it ended up being 3 years. They wanted me to do like 75 hours, all this stuff. And I really didn't know, pretty much for the first year, I'm just like drinking, kind of like stay under the radar. Really not doing much but drinking. I'm really like, had like a few odd jobs where I worked there like a month or month and a half, 2 months. And that was it. Like I was, drinking bottom shelf every day, just, by the handle. Like there's photos of my car, because that's what I was drinking in my car, and it was just filled to the brim. And one of these times in the car, I'm smoking a cigarette, right? Obliterated, and I drop the cigarette, and it lights the car on fire. I wake up in a haze. A few hours later, I go to the car and check it. Well, I was literally going to the car with the intention of grabbing more liquor. So I'm guessing like the liquor spills and the cigarette butt, ignited it. However it happened, the entire back seat was gone. It was just a mess. So this car now is essentially literally just a spot for me to sit and drink. Where I can't be bothered. The mirrors the glass, the windows are just glazed over with smoke. So yeah, that's pretty much what I treated it. I treated it as like a, little smoker's pit. This is crazy looking back at it. It's just insane. Anyway, it's about a year of this, that routine of just, and I just got really depressed. I had been isolating from my family, put on a bunch of weight. I hadn't gotten a haircut in like months. I was just in a really bad spot mentally. I really didn't think that much of it at the time, because you never really realize how far deep you are until you kind of like step out, I guess. But it was bad. It was not healthy by any stretch of the imagination. So this comes now down to, what is this, January of 22, or maybe January of 23. Yeah, I think January of 23. Yeah, January of 23. So this is a full year from the second DUI. I started this recovery journey. I go to rehab, I go to detox. I get exposed to, help, I guess. Getting help for my problems. And that's pretty much how this kind of started, right? I went through rehab, and then I went to a sober house, and I got a month, maybe a bit more than that, 45 days outside of like the rehab, and then everything fell through. And then I went back to rehab again, got out, and when I got out this time, I went to Gateway Kedzie. I went to another institution, like a recovery home similar to this one. And that didn't work out either. Same thing. Got another month, 6 weeks at most. Went back. This time I went down to Southwood, like a real rough part of town. Rehab. Got that done. Went back to Gateway. And then I messed that up again. So at this point, I have spent about 8 months in and out. I give up. I've lost it. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to the streets. This is ridiculous. It just didn't seem productive to me. Like every time I'm trying to get help and I mess up, it ends up like with the most dire of consequences. Like I have nowhere to sleep now. You know what I mean? So I was like, you know what? I gotta go find somewhere to sleep. I gotta go figure that out. So I call my brother and my dad, explain to them my situation, and I get them to, help me out and give me a few $100s to rent a room off Craigslist. So sublet this room. So that's what I do. This is like in a decent neighborhood in the part of town. You know, I don't know if anybody watching this against Chicago, but it was like off Cicero and Fullerton. So it was like north side, decent neighborhood, whatever. Right by the McDonald's. So I'm chilling there. I'm doing well. I stay there about a month, and then I meet. Well, I've met him already, but like this guy I just met, Kurt, who's now a great friend of mine. Is essentially renting a hotel with another buddy of his, an old roommate of his as well. So they're renting this hotel room, and I decide to go and stay with them in the hotel room and split the cost. So now I got basic stuff squared away. I got a job. I got, a place I can crash, and a place where I can drink, and no real consequences are gonna happen to me. So essentially, for that year, it was like 8 months. I was essentially drinking every day, every day. But I'm working, I'm proving myself. I'm keeping a job. Taking better care of myself in, other regards. I'm making sure, that I'm not spending the whole day sleeping, that I'm not drinking too much too fast to the point where I'm like puking bile. Just like, I think I'm being healthy, right? That I'm like being, as they say, using successfully. Around month 6, my legs starting to swell, my heart rate, while I'm not drinking is my resting heart rate is over like 110. And this whole time, like, I'm donating plasma to keep funds because I was like between jobs. I didn't have found my footing because employers don't like drunks. I don't know what that's about, but whatever. Yeah, in that process, like month 6, my legs started to swell, my resting heart rate got really high. I couldn't sleep. I would have to literally, like, I would end up with, like, I literally have a nightcap. So, like, my nightcap would be half a pint, and I would have to take that one go to make sure I essentially lights out. So I would wake up in time for work. Right, so I would hear my alarm and whatnot. And yeah, now we're at like 2024, and I decide, I'm like, you know what, screw the bills, screw all of that, and I decide to essentially not pay a month's rent, stack up two more checks, and hit the street with like $2,000. And I just decide to like party town. I don't know what I was thinking. It's now the summer. It's been about a full year, and I think it's a great idea. And I think I figured it out. And then worst case, I'll get a hotel and I'll go from there. I don't know what even that meant in my head, but it is safe. Family finds out what I'm up to. They get me out of that situation. And like kind of had like an intervention, and I explained to them, my stance and my situation and whatnot. And they asked me, okay, so what do you want to do? And I decided to go to rehab again. And yeah, so that's essentially like the first time I kind of went fully on my own accord, because the other times were like to meet requirements for probation. And that's pretty much where I'm going to leave that. That's like, now that's where I'm going to split it into, 2 sections. Because that was like everything that got me here. And then that was like the start of the journey I'm on currently. So I guess wait, in the next video, I'll tell you how the recovery journey has been.